Top 25 Vendor Management Interview Questions and Answers. In today's competitive business landscape, effective vendor management is crucial for organizational success. This video will guide you through the top 25 interview questions that employers commonly ask to assess candidates' expertise in vendor management. We will also provide insightful answers that highlight key skills and knowledge necessary for effective vendor relationships. Whether you are a job seeker or an interviewer, this resource will enhance your understanding of vendor management best practices. 1. What is your experience with vendor management? Vendor management involves overseeing relationships with suppliers, ensuring they meet contractual obligations, and driving value for the organization. My experience includes establishing clear communication channels, negotiating contracts, and evaluating vendor performance against key performance indicators, KPIs. I've successfully implemented vendor management software to streamline processes, track compliance, and assess risks. Building strong partnerships with vendors is essential, as it fosters collaboration and innovation. I've also handled onboarding and training to align vendors with our company's goals, ensuring a smooth integration into our operations. 2. How do you identify and select new vendors? Identifying and selecting new vendors involves a systematic approach. Initially, I conduct market research to gather potential candidates, focusing on their reputation, expertise, and industry presence. I utilize resources such as online reviews, referrals, and industry reports. Once I have a shortlist, I evaluate vendors based on specific criteria, including pricing, service offerings, and reliability. I also assess their financial stability and compliance with regulations. Engaging in discussions with prospective vendors allows me to gauge their responsiveness and alignment with our organizational values, ensuring a good fit before proceeding to negotiations. 3. What criteria do you use to evaluate vendor performance? When evaluating vendor performance, I consider several key criteria: quality of products or services, timeliness of delivery, cost-effectiveness, and responsiveness to issues. I assess whether the vendor meets agreed-upon service-level agreements, SLAs, and quality standards. Regular feedback from internal stakeholders is also crucial, as it provides insight into the vendor's reliability and support. Additionally, I analyze whether the vendor demonstrates a commitment to continuous improvement and innovation, which can enhance our partnership over time. 4. Describe a time you negotiated a contract with a vendor. In a previous role, I was tasked with negotiating a contract with a software vendor. The initial proposal was higher than our budget, so I conducted thorough research on market rates and alternative solutions. During negotiations, I highlighted our long-term partnership potential and the possibility of increased business volume. After several discussions, I was able to secure a 15% discount by agreeing to a multi-year contract. This not only helped us save costs but also strengthened our relationship with the vendor. The successful negotiation led to improved service levels and timely updates on new features. 5. How do you handle underperforming vendors? Handling underperforming vendors requires a structured approach. First, I assess the specific issues affecting their performance by reviewing relevant metrics and feedback. Open communication is key. I engage the vendor in a candid discussion about the shortcomings and gather their perspective. Together, we establish clear expectations and a performance improvement plan, including measurable goals and timelines. Regular follow-ups are essential to monitor progress. If the vendor fails to improve despite support, I evaluate alternative options while ensuring compliance with our contract and maintaining professionalism throughout the process. 6. What strategies do you use to build strong vendor relationships? Building strong vendor relationships requires consistent communication and trust. I prioritize regular check-ins to discuss performance, expectations, and any potential issues. Transparency is key. I make sure to share relevant information that may affect our partnership. I also involve vendors in strategic conversations, encouraging their input on projects. Additionally, recognizing their contributions and celebrating successes strengthens our bond. I focus on mutual goals, ensuring that both parties benefit from the relationship, which fosters loyalty and cooperation. This approach leads to enhanced collaboration and improved service delivery. 7. How do you ensure compliance with vendor contracts? Ensuring compliance with vendor contracts involves several key steps. First, I establish clear expectations and requirements in the contract itself, making sure all parties understand their obligations. Regular communication with vendors is vital. I schedule periodic meetings to review performance and address any potential issues. Additionally, I implement a tracking system to monitor compliance metrics, which helps identify areas needing attention. Conducting audits and reviews at set intervals ensures adherence to contract terms, while providing training and resources to vendors promotes a culture of compliance. 8. What tools or software have you used for vendor management? In my experience, I have utilized various tools for effective vendor management. Some of the notable ones include SAP Ariba, which offers procurement and contract management features, and Coupa, known for its spend management capabilities. I have also worked with Vendor Panel for vendor selection and evaluation, along with Jaguar, which provides comprehensive supply chain solutions. These software platforms facilitate tracking vendor performance, managing contracts, and ensuring compliance, helping streamline the vendor management process while enhancing collaboration and communication across teams. 9. How do you manage vendor risk? Managing vendor risk involves a multifaceted approach. First, I conduct thorough due diligence during the vendor selection process, evaluating their financial stability, compliance records, and reputation in the industry. Regular risk assessments help identify potential vulnerabilities in the vendor relationship. I implement robust contracts that include risk mitigation clauses and service level agreements, SLAS, to ensure accountability. Continuous monitoring and communication are essential. I schedule routine check-ins to discuss performance and any emerging risks. Additionally, I maintain a contingency plan to prepare for possible disruptions. 10. Describe a time you resolved a conflict with a vendor. In a previous role, I encountered a situation where a vendor consistently delivered products that did not meet our specifications. Instead of escalating the issue immediately, I scheduled a meeting with the vendor to discuss our concerns. During the conversation, I actively listened to their perspective and identified a miscommunication regarding our requirements. We collaboratively developed a corrective action plan, which included clearer specifications and regular check-ins. This proactive approach not only resolved the conflict but also strengthened our partnership, leading to improved product quality and timely deliveries in subsequent orders. 11. How do you track and measure vendor SLAS? To effectively track and measure vendor SLAS, I implement a combination of performance dashboards and regular reporting mechanisms. Each vendor's SLAS are documented clearly, detailing metrics such as delivery times, quality standards, and compliance rates. I set up automated alerts to notify the relevant teams when SLAS are at risk of being breached. Regular performance reviews with vendors help ensure alignment on expectations and address any issues promptly. By maintaining open communication and utilizing data analytics tools, I can continuously monitor performance, enabling proactive management of vendor relationships. 12. What steps do you take to reduce vendor costs? To reduce vendor costs, I start by conducting a thorough analysis of existing contracts and pricing structures. Identifying areas for negotiation, I engage in discussions with vendors about potential discounts or bulk purchasing agreements. Implementing competitive bidding processes allows for comparisons among multiple vendors, ensuring the best value. Additionally, I establish long-term relationships with reliable vendors, which often leads to more favorable pricing. Regular performance reviews help identify underperforming vendors, enabling decisions that optimize costs without sacrificing quality. Finally, leveraging technology for tracking and managing vendor services can uncover efficiencies that reduce expenses. 13. How do you manage multiple vendors for the same service? Managing multiple vendors for the same service requires a structured approach. I begin by clearly defining roles and responsibilities, ensuring each vendor understands their specific scope. Communication is key. I schedule regular meetings to discuss performance, address concerns, and align expectations. Utilizing project management tools helps track deliverables and deadlines, allowing for efficient oversight. I also implement performance metrics to evaluate each vendor, ensuring they meet quality standards and service level agreements. This systematic approach fosters collaboration and minimizes conflicts, ensuring all vendors work toward common objectives. 14. What's your approach to contract renewals? When approaching contract renewals, I focus on several key factors. First, I assess the existing vendor's performance against agreed metrics and service level agreements. This evaluation informs whether to continue the relationship or seek alternatives. I also engage stakeholders to gather feedback on the vendor's delivery and responsiveness. Additionally, I analyze market conditions to ensure we are getting competitive rates. Open communication with vendors is essential, allowing for a discussion on possible adjustments in terms or pricing that reflect our evolving needs. This proactive approach aids in making informed decisions that benefit the organization. 15. How do you ensure vendors meet quality standards? Ensuring vendors meet quality standards involves establishing clear expectations from the outset. I implement a comprehensive vendor onboarding process that includes detailed quality criteria and performance metrics. Regular audits and assessments are conducted to monitor compliance with these standards. I maintain open lines of communication with vendors, offering feedback and support for improvement. Additionally, I encourage a collaborative approach where vendors are involved in quality discussions, fostering a shared commitment to excellence. This proactive engagement helps in identifying potential issues early and supports continuous improvement. 16. What's your experience with procurement processes? My experience with procurement processes involves collaborating closely with cross-functional teams to identify needs, develop specifications, and source suitable suppliers. I have implemented strategic sourcing practices, ensuring alignment with organizational goals while focusing on cost efficiency. I actively participate in negotiating contracts and managing vendor relationships throughout the procurement lifecycle. By utilizing data analysis and market research, I've successfully optimized procurement strategies, resulting in improved quality and reduced lead times. My strong communication skills enable effective collaboration with stakeholders, ensuring that procurement initiatives support business objectives. 17. How do you handle vendor onboarding? Vendor onboarding is a structured process that ensures new vendors are integrated efficiently. First, I assess the vendor's compliance with our requirements and standards. This includes collecting necessary documentation and conducting background checks. Next, I provide training on our systems and processes, ensuring they understand expectations and protocols. Effective communication is key. I maintain regular check-ins during the initial phases to address any concerns. Finally, I establish performance metrics from the outset to track their progress and ensure alignment with our objectives. This approach fosters a smooth transition and builds a solid foundation for collaboration. 18. Describe a time you had to switch vendors. What was the process? Switching vendors can be a complex process. In one instance, our team identified that a current vendor was consistently failing to meet service level agreements. We began by conducting a thorough evaluation of potential new vendors, focusing on their capabilities, pricing, and reputation. After selecting a new vendor, we developed a transition plan that included a timeline and clear communication strategies. We ensured all stakeholders were informed and provided training to staff on the new processes. After the switch, we closely monitored the new vendor's performance to ensure a smooth transition and address any issues promptly. 19. How do you stay updated on market trends for vendor selection? Staying updated on market trends for vendor selection involves a proactive approach. Regularly attending industry conferences and webinars helps to gain insights into emerging technologies and best practices. Subscribing to relevant trade publications and newsletters provides ongoing information about shifts in vendor capabilities and market dynamics. Networking with peers in the industry allows for the exchange of experiences and recommendations. Utilizing social media platforms can also be beneficial for following thought leaders and participating in discussions that highlight current trends and vendor innovations. 20. What's your experience with outsourcing vendors? My experience with outsourcing vendors has been quite extensive. I have collaborated with various outsourcing partners to achieve cost efficiencies and access specialized skills that are not available in-house. This includes managing relationships with IT service providers for software development and customer service teams for client support. I prioritize clear communication and set defined expectations to ensure alignment on project goals. Regular performance reviews and feedback mechanisms are essential to maintain quality and address any issues promptly, fostering a productive partnership that aligns with our strategic objectives. 21. How do you ensure data security with third-party vendors? Ensuring data security with third-party vendors starts with a thorough vetting process. This includes assessing their security protocols, compliance with regulations, and history of data breaches. Implementing strict contract terms that outline data handling practices is crucial, including clauses for immediate notification of any data incidents. Regular audits and assessments are essential to monitor their adherence to security standards. Additionally, providing training and resources to vendors about data security best practices can enhance their awareness and responsiveness to potential threats. 22. What's your approach to vendor diversity and inclusion? My approach to vendor diversity and inclusion involves actively seeking out and engaging with suppliers from various backgrounds, including minority-owned, women-owned, and veteran-owned businesses. I prioritize establishing relationships with diverse vendors, ensuring they are included in our sourcing processes. Regular training sessions and outreach programs help raise awareness about the benefits of diversity in our supply chain. I also incorporate metrics to track our diversity goals, fostering an environment where diverse vendors are supported and encouraged to thrive, ultimately benefiting our organization and the community. 23. How do you communicate vendor performance to stakeholders? Effective communication of vendor performance to stakeholders involves several steps. First, I prepare detailed performance reports that highlight key performance indicators, KPIs, relevant to the stakeholders' interests. These reports include metrics such as quality, delivery timelines, compliance, and cost efficiency. I schedule regular meetings to discuss these reports, encouraging feedback and open dialogue. Additionally, I tailor communication methods based on the stakeholders' preferences, whether through presentations, emails, or dashboards. Transparency is crucial, so I ensure that both positive and negative aspects are addressed, maintaining trust and collaboration. 24. What's the most challenging vendor issue you faced, and how did you resolve it? One of the most challenging vendor issues I faced involved a critical supplier who consistently delivered late. This delay affected our production schedule, leading to potential financial losses. I initiated a meeting with the vendor to discuss the root causes of these delays and discovered they were facing capacity issues. Together, we developed a revised delivery schedule and implemented regular check-ins to monitor progress. By maintaining open communication and setting clear expectations, we were able to improve delivery time significantly and strengthen our partnership. 25. How do you balance cost savings with vendor quality? Balancing cost savings with vendor quality involves a strategic approach. First, I prioritize understanding the specific needs of the project and the required quality standards. Then, I conduct thorough market research to identify vendors that provide competitive pricing without compromising on quality. Establishing clear criteria for vendor evaluation helps in this process, allowing me to compare proposals effectively. Regular communication with vendors fosters transparency and encourages them to offer cost-effective solutions. By negotiating terms that emphasize quality while seeking discounts or value-added services, I can achieve a balance that meets budgetary constraints without sacrificing essential quality. In navigating the complexities of vendor management, being prepared for interviews is essential. The top 25 questions and answers shared in this video will equip you with the insights needed to impress potential employers and demonstrate your expertise. Understanding these key topics will not only enhance your interview performance but also boost your confidence in addressing vendor-related challenges. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more valuable content to support your career growth. Thank you for watching.